Good morning. It's a rainy, probably cold day. It's almost noon. And I have a physical therapy appointment today. I froze one of my persimmons last night. I just took it out of the fridge so when I get home from my appointment, this will be completely ripe. Here's my persimmon that I froze overnight and left out. It's now the evening. It's about 8. I just rinsed it off and I'm going to peel it. You can eat the skin, but I don't like it. It's kind of tough. So I'm going to peel this and cut it up and eat it. So when it's completely ripe, it's gel-like inside. It's kind of slimy. Don't know what this is. Really kind of slimy. So if you don't like slimy, you probably wouldn't like persimmons. And it's very sweet. So I can only eat, okay, I'm not gonna do that one. I can only eat so much of them. And that's what it looks like. So you can eat them hard, not completely ripe, as long as they're orange. They need a chill in order to get ripe. They're really good. I am going to, it is really good. I have 2 others that I picked the other day in the refrigerator. And I'm going to, the others I'm probably going to pick sometime this week. And I'm just going to put them all in the little vegetable crisper. And they will slowly ripen under there. And I'll pick one out every time I want one. And probably going to give my daughter some and her boyfriend some also. I have a friend who has tried them and she didn't like them. I don't know, I don't remember if the other 2 game night friends liked them or not. I can't remember, but if they do, I'll give some to them too. I boiled up the rest of those peanuts yesterday in the Instant Pot. I did videotape it, but then I didn't edit it or anything. I just deleted it. It didn't seem very interesting. I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot yesterday, so I didn't make a video for today. These peanuts are cold now. I think I'm going to, so if you have an Instant Pot and you grow potatoes, if you grow peanuts or you buy them raw or green, everything I read said most of them are ready in September, but mine were October. In the Instant Pot, you cook them for an hour, high pressure, cook them, and then you let it, the pressure release naturally, and then you let them sit for an hour or 3 hours or whatever with salt in the water, and then you eat them. I pulled mine out after about an hour and tried them. I think I'm going to warm up some and snack on some. I ate a really late lunch with my daughter. I had an appointment today, and a late appointment, and then we went and had a little bit. I had some chili at Drake's. It was so cold and wet. It was raining, and the chili just sounded really good. I forgot to mention the boiled peanuts can stay in the fridge for 7 days. You can also freeze them. I'm going to try and eat a little bit every day and get rid of them. I still have my roasted ones to eat too. It is almost Halloween. It's Monday. It is Monday the 27th. I just warmed up some yakisoba, and I think I'm going to warm up the rest of it. I wasn't going to eat all of it, but I'm a little hungry. I thought I would tell you a story because it's getting close to Halloween. I remember 3 spooky stories. I may have told one already, but I don't remember if I did or not. I have a vague memory of telling that story. But this first one, I don't know which one to tell you. Okay, 2 of them are related to the hospital I used to work in. I used to work at the VA in Lexington, and I think it must have been night shift because there weren't a whole lot of people running around either time. Very quiet. Not a good thing to say. I can't believe I said that word. Any nurses would know why you don't talk about that word. Anyway, you don't say it out loud. You might think it, but you don't say it. Anyway, it's kind of sad, but then something weird happened. So we were taking care of this older man. I usually sat at the nurse's station at the very end, at the farthest end of the nurse's station, and you can see down the hall on that side. And we had an older man. He was dying in a private room down the hall. It was a 2-bed room right across from the nurse's station where I used to sit. And then it was 336, 337 was a single, and 338, I think 37 was a single, and 338 was a single. And this night he passed away, and he was taken down to the morgue, and his room had been cleaned. And I can't remember back then. So when I first started working there, the nurses had to strip the beds and make the beds. The housekeeping did not. We had to dump the garbage, strip the bed, then they would come clean the room, and then we would make the beds. Well, they quit making nurses do that in that hospital because we were so stressed out, and we lost so many nurses. And I can't remember, I think this was after we quit having to make the beds and strip them. But so the room was empty, and it was a couple hours later, and I'm sitting at the nurse's station, and the admin person is sitting, the one who answers the call lights and answers the phone, the first person to answer the phone, or should. That doesn't always happen. A lot of times we did not have good admin people, and they would sit there listening to music, crocheting or whatever, and then they would never answer the phone, and they would ignore, well, this one person would ignore family members and patients who came up to them. That's another story. Anyway, it was bad. But I don't think this person was that person. And the call bell in that room started going off. And I could see it going off, and you can hear it. And at first I thought it was somebody, one of the other staff members, joking around. So I walked down there, and I could see, and I guess I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't staring down the hall the whole time. I was charting. So I walked down there to fix the call bell. Sometimes if it gets pulled out, it will start dinging. Somebody doesn't necessarily have to press the call bell button. So I thought, well, maybe it came loose when they were cleaning it, and I walked down there and there was nobody in the room. And the call bell was plugged in. So I turned it off, and then I went back and sat down. And it happened 2 or 3 more times that night. Not right away, but like half hour, an hour later. I can't remember exactly what the time interval was, but yeah, it kept ringing all night long after that man died in there. And I still don't know why. I don't believe in ghosts. And he was very quiet. I don't think he ever turned his call bell on. Yeah, but it was going off all night after he was gone. While my food is warming up, I'm going to tell you another story because it's really short. So I was working at the same hospital, and I think it was on night shift again because there weren't a whole lot of people milling around. It was just me sometimes the admin person there was there, or one of the other nurses were up front. But so we used to have these binders. We all went electronic. We got rid of the binders years after I started working there, where the patient's chart was. The only time we used the charts were when the computer system went down, and so we would have to make up charts, and the doctors would have to write the old-fashioned orders. It was a form, and they would have to write the order on the form, and we would put it in. I think we sent it to if it was a medication order, we would fax it to the pharmacy, and then we would then put it in the chart. That's what I remember. So we have those binders. They're long, and they're like a normal binder, like a school binder, where they're thicker on one end than the other. They kind of graduate down, and so you can't stack them the same way. You have to stack them with the thick end on this side and then flip the next chart so that it's even, and so they don't topple over. And that's the way these were. But then I'm sitting there minding my own business, and all of a sudden all the charts fall off this little credenza in back of the admin's desk. the admin sits here, and right in back of her is a credenza with these binders. And I think I restacked the first time it fell. And I don't remember if there was a patient who passed away recently, but there is a lot of people that died on that floor in that hospital, a lot. And so I would stack them. The admin person would stack them, and I would stack them. I stacked them that first time, I think it was me. And then the admin person came back and sat down, and we'd be sitting there charting, answering phones. Nobody's near the credenza, nobody bumped it, and they would just fall again. And this happened all night long again. It was really creepy. It was creeping me out. Yeah. And it only happened that one time. Not that it never did ever fall, but usually if the stuff fell when somebody would either get one of the binders out or put one back in, and then you're disturbing it. But nobody was near the credenza for a long time in between the falls, and they would just fall on their own, and they were stacked perfectly fine. Yeah. I don't believe in ghosts because I don't want to believe in them, especially when I started working over at Leestown. Oh, I have another hospital. Oh, I just remembered. Oh, I'm getting chills. So the original VA hospital was over on Leestown Road. The hospital I worked in at first was on Cooper Drive. It's attached to UK by a walkway, the University of Kentucky Hospital, and the doctors would work at both hospitals. But Leestown was like a long-term care facility, hospice, and then like the clinics. They had some clinics over in the main hospital, but like primary care clinics were over in the old hospital. And it used to be a hospital in the past, like a regular emergency room and acute care way back in the day. I don't know the whole history of it, but very old building, beautiful building, old brick. I don't know not really sure of the architecture, but it's beautiful. The grounds are beautiful. It's not, so the newer hospital is just the hospital. Very little grounds. It's right downtown. There's like no land around it. So when you take your break, there's like no green space to go out and hang out really. At the Leestown Hospital, it's kind of on the outskirts of town. Huge campus. I used to walk. When I went to telephone care, that's where our office was, in the basement, before I came home. They sent us home after the whole COVID thing, which I like too. I did miss walking around the campus though, and they have old, beautiful trees, a lot of grass, geese, wild geese would live there. Yeah, a very large area. They've now made like apartments for the homeless veterans on part of the campus where I used to walk, and then they blocked it off, which I wasn't too happy about, but I'm happy those people have a place to stay. So I just Googled Leestown building. It says it was established in 1931. I don't know if that means it was built then or they started building it. I don't know. But this is what that building, part of the main building, looks like. And it has wings going back here and back there and other buildings around it. It's a pretty building, but very creepy. And when I first started working there, back in 2003, I had started my nursing career in Louisville because the VA had a hiring freeze. So for like 3 months, I worked for Baptist East. It used to be called Baptist East, and the hospital in Lexington was Central Baptist. Now it's just Baptist Health, all of it. But anyway, when the hiring freeze was off, I went ahead and they called me and I said, okay, I'll come and work for the VA. And so the training, like the computer training and all the other training you have to go through before you actually go and start working on the unit, is at Leestown, that creepy old building. When you walk down the halls, it has this tile that reminds me of an insane asylum, like those old movies with the insane asylum tiles. And one day I had computer class and I had to go upstairs. So I took the elevator up after lunch. We had a lunch break and I came back. I was the first person back. And I took the elevator up to the second floor to the computer lab. And I was standing by the elevator waiting for them to come unlock the door to the computer classroom. And I'm standing there and somebody comes up on the elevator. The door's open and there's nobody there. And then it closes and goes back down again. And I was by myself because I was the first person back. I just, it was not fun. Finally, somebody else actually came. And then when I actually started working there, I went to telephone care, and it was in the basement of that building, on one of the side wings. And we were the only people there at nighttime except for like security police. We worked from 4:30 to 1 o'clock. And a lot of us would take our breaks and go walk. During the daytime, on the weekends, we worked day shift from 7:30 to 5, I think. And then Monday through Friday, we worked 4:30 to 1. So when it's dark outside, you're not going to be walking around the campus. We only walked that during maybe our first little break on night shift. On a evening shift, we would maybe take one of our first breaks and walk around the grounds. All others, if you wanted to go for a walk and stretch your legs, you had to do it in the building. And I did a few times, but I would just get creeped out. I couldn't handle it. And people suggested I listen to music. Oh no, I want to hear if somebody's behind me. It was just creepy. I did not like it because nobody else was around. The security police they were like our hallway, and their hallway was over here, but you had to go down a ways and then cut and then go back this way. And every once in a while they would do rounds, but it was just us. And one of my coworkers used to walk all over. She'd go upstairs and no, no. I'm getting chills just thinking about that place. It is creepy. Yeah. So I would do it occasionally. Sometimes I would just like walk down the hall and walk back, and occasionally I would hear weird noises. So I don't know if it was some maintenance person hiding out, the night shift maintenance person. Oh, that's another thing. Ugh. Ugh. That reminded me of working over at Cooper Drive, the main hospital. Whenever somebody passed away, even in the daytime, it was worse at night. A lot of times you would go down to the morgue to take somebody down. Usually the CNA did it, or the LPN you worked with. However, a lot of times on night shift we didn't have a CNA, and we might have one LPN, 2 RNs, 1 LPN for the longest time, because we were taking care of so many patients. Nobody wanted to stay working there. When we did get a CNA, they wouldn't last long. And we had 36 patients between 3 nurses, 2 RNs, and an LPN for the longest time. It was a nightmare. Anyway, and these were sick patients. They weren't, wasn't a nursing home. It was acute care, a med-surg floor. And I don't know why I stayed for so long. Nobody but a couple of us older nurses stayed. I guess we were comfortable, and we knew the turnover was so high. I almost left at one point, and because I was so stressed out. And I was talking to my dad. My dad's a veteran, and all these people were quitting. All these RNs were quitting, and left and right. We would get some, and then they would all quit, all within a couple weeks of each other. And I told my dad, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And he said, if you leave, who's going to take care of those old men? 99% of them were men. We didn't have very many women come in. And I just thought, I know, especially when we had just had a big group of them leave, and I stupidly stayed. I stayed until I sprained my ankle and couldn't hobble around, and the ankle wasn't healing, and I decided I needed to go and get a desk job, so I did. Anyway, I don't know why I got off on that. Anyway, creepy place. But so one time we had a patient pass away on night shift, and we didn't have anybody available. The other nurses that were working that night were too busy, so I was just like, I'll take them down to the morgue. And I took them down by myself. We usually go in twos. And it was the only time I took a patient down to the morgue by myself. So you had to go into the basement. And there was one person, they were in, I can't remember their job title, but they were there always by themselves. It was normally the same guy, usually the same guy, and he never had the lights on. If I'm working in a basement not too far from the morgue, I'm gonna have all my lights on in this office, but no. You would go into his office and all the lights would be dimmed, and all he had was like the computer screens on and some dim light on the desktop. Like, why would you do that? That alone was bad enough, but you had to sign out the key to the morgue from him. You had to take the morgue key, unlock the morgue, and it was just like a walk-in freezer. Get the morgue cart and the the little thing that goes on top of, so you could put the sheet over, so you can't see the body bag, and take it out by yourself. It's very awkward doing this, especially if somebody's pushed all the carts all the way to the back end of the wall and you're like holding. So I know you could push the door back open, supposedly, if it closes on you. But in your mind, you're thinking, I'm gonna get trapped in here. And we had these little cell phones, cheapy little, I think they were Nokia phones, but they didn't always work in the basement. So if you get trapped in there, you're gonna get trapped with whoever else is in the morgue, in the dark, in the cold. And so you're trying to prop the door open with your one leg, your foot, while you reach for the morgue cart and bring it out with you. I never did that again. I learned my lesson from that one time. It did not close on me, but boy, was I scared it was gonna close on me. But yeah, I did it myself. I went and got him, got the morgue cart, got him, and brought him down to the morgue by myself. And I only ever did it that one time because it was creeping me out. And it's not so much. So when I was a nurse, I was never afraid of dead people. I've closed the door with just me and whoever passed away, and I would do, clean them up. We would, if there's no autopsy, you take out all the lines and tubes and everything and put them in the body bag, and get them ready to go. That never bothered me. And I'm surprised that it didn't bother me, but it didn't. Especially if you took care of those patients before they passed away. So yeah, that never bothered me. But that morgue did, because it was like a walk-in freezer. It was cold, and if that door closed on you and wouldn't open back up, you were gonna be in the dark in there. And my imagination is really strong. And yeah, it was not good. It was not fun. So, and then I have another, I guess I'll go ahead and tell it while I still have it on my mind. The only other spooky thing that has happened to me that I remember anyway is I used to live across the street on the other side of town from one of my friends. I talk about her. She's the one that gave me the plates. And I have to say that if she didn't watch my kids when I was going through a divorce and trying to go to nursing school, which was horrific, I would have never been able to get through nursing school, because she watched them early in the morning, and then when they came back from school, her kids did. Her kids were a little bit older than mine, and they would watch them for me, because you couldn't miss class, you couldn't miss clinicals. Some of the clinicals were an hour away, and so I had really weird hours, early morning hours. I had to be gone, and they would put them on the bus. She would feed them. Sometimes I would help give her some food or food money, but I couldn't really give her a whole lot. Anyway, yeah, I owe her a lot. She did a lot for me. Anyway, I was renting this house. We had moved up from southeastern Kentucky up into this town because my ex got a job in another town not too far away. So we were renting this house across the street from her, and it was a little 3-bedroom. I think it was a little bit smaller than this house, maybe not. May have been maybe. It only had a one full bath. It had a half bath in the master bedroom with a little pedestal sink. And because there wasn't any area to put your toothbrushes and stuff on the little pedestal sink, we all just would brush our teeth in the hall bathroom, in the big bathroom. And not too long after we moved in, I would be brushing my teeth, and I would see a dark shadow go down the hall, and I would think it was one of my kids. Or I'd be sitting watching TV after the kids had gone to bed. This is, my ex moved out, and I'm pretty sure this started before he moved out, but so I'd be sitting on the couch watching TV in the living room after the kids had gone to bed. I think it used to happen sometimes when my ex was still there, but this one time it was just me and the kids, and I saw a shadow go down the hall, and I thought, why are they up? I was thinking it was one of my kids being up, sneaking around. So I got up really quietly and I walked down the hall, and I looked in both their bedrooms. They were both sound asleep. And this happened for quite a while. And then finally I asked my neighbor across the street, who's my friend, and I don't believe in ghosts. Like, I really do not want to believe, because it creeps me out. I don't want to think about that kind of stuff. But I just asked, has anybody ever died in this house? And she's like, nope. And then when I left, when I bought this house a few years later, she told me the truth. She told me that, the man who built that house died. She said he was a really nice man, and he died in that bathroom, in the hall bathroom. So, I'm getting chills. And she also told me that some of the renters before me had seen something also, which really creeped me out. And then when the managers, the property managers, were cleaning up the house and painting and fixing things, replacing things or whatever, she went over to say hi because she was friends with them. And she told them what I had been seeing. And the woman said something like, oh, I'm not afraid of no ghost. And she kind of laughed and kind of laughed about it. And after my friend left, she later told her that she was telling her husband, who was in another room working, that they were kind of joking about it, and one of the light bulbs in that bathroom exploded. I think it's just coincidence, but really weird. And then she had to tell me about that too. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Has anything weird like that ever happened to you? I love old buildings. I think they are interesting, and I love that they have more character than the newer homes do that they're building now or have been building for the last 40, 50 years. But they also creep me out. I'm not gonna lie. They're spooky. Very spooky. And I think it's my overactive imagination that does it. And I wish I had an animal with me right now, and because now I'm going to creep myself out and I'm going to be all alone in my house. So let's talk about something else. Oh, my daughter has also said she had seen the shadow. I don't know if she's just remembers that because I had said something later, or she actually did. And my daughter and her boyfriend are planning to come help me pass out stuff for Halloween, so yay, I'll have help. I think it's going to be a little chilly. So thank you all for watching. Take care. Bye.